to another episode of Temple Timeout. I'm Vaughan.
And I am Nate Stanley. Now we know you've got some Halloween festivities to get to, so we're not going to take too much of your time. Let's just jump into it. Last week, USF hosted the Owls down in Tampa. The Bulls marched down the field early in the first quarter, but fumbled a snap during a field goal, which was recovered by junior cornerback Keyshawn Paul. That kept the Bulls board. The Owls were in great field position for their first drive, but DeJuan Mathis threw an end zone interception, giving the Bulls possession again. The second quarter began with a rushing touchdown by USF running back Duron Mangum, who recorded 152 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns.
Now, there were some bright spots for the Owls, like a 70-yard pass from Mathis to Randall Jones for a touchdown, but that was one of the Owls' only 34 plays run the entire game. The offense couldn't seem to control the ball and finished only 183 passing yards. The defense struggled specifically against USF's ground game, allowing 421 rushing yards, a USF school record. Head coach Rod Carey acknowledges more effort is needed on both sides of the ball.
We just, in key situations, we were missing tackles, and then in non-key situations, we were missing tackles, and offensively, we weren't staying on the field. And it all works together. It certainly works together. It's not defense fault, offensive fault, special teams fault. That's a team loss.
Now, Nate, that result was not at all what the Owls and their fans wanted at all, but that one is in the past. This week, the Owls are back at home and they are taking on the UCF Knights. Can they bounce back at home against this team?
I'm going to be honest. I don't think it's going to be close. I mean, the Owls, after you watch that performance against USF, who was already not the best football team, you can't be confident heading in to play an actual contender like UCF. Right now, they have over 33 points per game, over 400 yards of total offense per game. It's just not the type of offense that I think the Owls can stop, especially if they couldn't stop the USF offense. But what do you think?
No, I totally agree with you. To keep it short, no. Even with the injuries, the key injuries that UCF has experienced, especially not having Dylan Gabriel at the helm, they've still been efficient. Temple's defense has not looked itself at all in the past few weeks, but now they're struggling on both sides of the ball. So that is not what they need going into this UCF game. It would have helped maybe a little bit coming off of a win down in South Florida, but yeah, I don't see this one going in the Owls' favor at all.
Call it post-game overreaction, but this loss brings to light some potential organizational woes within the program. Play calling and down distribution have been places of criticism for the Owls. Brooklyn, I'm going to ask a tough question. Is Rod Carey the coach that Temple needs?
It's another one. We'll keep it short, and I'm just going to say no. I don't believe so. I don't think he's the right fit for this program. I think the fan base is also very much calling for him to hit the road at this point. And they just haven't been productive, and they haven't reached their full potential. They do have talent in this program, but I just don't see it coming to fruition under this coaching staff. And I do think that is going to become a really serious point of conversation as soon as Arthur Johnson, the new athletic director, gets to campus in November. Could it come at the end of the season? Could it come in the off season? I'm not sure. But I don't really think that Rod Carey is the right fit for this program at this time.
Yeah, I don't want to say it's one foot out the door at the moment, but you can't see any bright spots with the future of this program. I mean, I'm being a bit pessimistic, but I don't see an upward trajectory that we saw before Rod Carey stepped into the program. A lot of the identity that the Owls had prior to him being placed as head coach, we don't have that anymore. And it's not what I see as where the Owls should be headed.
Yeah. So in the spirit of change, obviously the talk of the town has also been this conference realignment within the AAC. What are your thoughts on this? And is there any specific program that you're really looking forward to seeing maybe throughout all this?
Yeah, so I think UAB is a team that I think when I'm looking at somebody who I'm excited to see in the conference. It's a very storied franchise. You remember when they didn't have a football team a couple years back. I think having a team with that recognition and having a team with that type of a story is going to be really good for the AAC. It's going to bring some notoriety. And they have a good program too. So it'll be nice to see how the Owls can play against them. There are beatable teams now in the AAC. That's the way I look at it. Temple does have the potential to be that big fish in a little pond if they can, get their stuff together and start creating a winnable program. So there is that potential, but I am still on the Temple needs to leave the AAC train. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, you're not alone. I think the majority of the fan base also feels the same way that you do. A lot of them calling for, realignment in the aspect of the basketball kind of realm and how this is going to affect the basketball program. But I think at the end of the day, you have to look at football, which is this is what this all revolves around. It seems a little odd for Temple to even be in this conference anymore, and I think a lot of that has to do with geographically. But at the end of the day, you bring up a valid point that there are beatable teams now in the AAC. None of which I can really say that I'm super looking forward to seeing compete against Temple. But it'll be nice for Owls fans to not have to see them, go up against Memphis and Cincinnati and Houston and maybe really tough opponents that they've gone against in the past. But you have to take a look back the past few years when Temple has been matched up against these games. Fans have also seen some really great football come out of it. So, and a lot of potential too within the Temple program. And I think that that's what they fear the most within this realignment, is everything that comes along with being a big fish in a little pond. The legitimacy too of the program is kind of on the men. So that's really interesting. But I think that it's an ongoing conversation, and there's a lot more too that we're going to see throughout the next phases of this process.
Yeah, you're right. It's also, as you mentioned, we're in the middle of football season. So right now our brains are, what is this going to look like for the football program? I'm sure once the basketball season kicks off and we're in that full swing, it's going to be a whole different conversation. There's whole different aspects and things that we're going to be thinking of when it comes to these teams. And you're right. It does bring up that conversation of what is this going to be like for the basketball program, which for the past few decades has been the shining star of Temple athletics. So a lot to think about, a lot to worry about. But to a positive note, Brooklyn, I heard that there's a new face joining the Diamond Gems.
There is, and I was able to spend Sunday at Siani's signing with the Diamond Gems through Team Impact. I even got to watch her cheer on the volleyball team on the sidelines. It was a really special day for the team all around, so let's go ahead and take a look at that.
This week, the Temple University Diamond Gems welcomed a new addition to their roster. 11-year-old Siani Rogers officially signed with the dance team through an organization called Team Impact, which is dedicated to connecting children with illnesses and collegiate athletic teams, fostering bonds and solidarity through sports.
We've all started together as a family a couple months ago, and Siani's been able to do a couple of things with us and practices. We even got a photo shoot one day, which was pretty cool. It's really what we really got to see Siani's fun side, and she's been a great addition to the team so far.
Siani was diagnosed with sickle cell disease when she was 2 months old and has experienced extensive treatments for her condition.
I'm just glad that she gets to experience what she's been going through without her being in and out of the hospital.
I was happy for a new opportunity and new experiences.
Siani says that she's been practicing the dances she has learned from her teammates and is getting ready for her next appearances as basketball season approaches.
By signing this letter of intent, you are deemed a member of Temple University Diamond Gems dance team. This title requires you to carry yourself with pride, honor, respect, sportsmanship, and integrity.
Reporting from Pearson McGonigal Hall for Temple Update, I'm Brooklyn Vaughan.
Brooklyn Temple athletics right now is currently 6-23 in the month of October, and some of these teams are already wrapping up their season, and not a single winning record is to speak of for the Temple athletics program. That's not great. We talked about building a winning program. I'll be honest, it's not how you do it. Our sports director and producer Jonathan has posed the question of whether or not we think any of these teams could be playoff contenders or enter one of those postseason tournaments. Brooklyn, as you can tell, I'm stuttering over my words. I can't even think straight. What are your thoughts?
I mean, I think it's an important point to emphasize that there is not one winning record in this athletic department right now. Hello, that's red flag. That's the red flag trend right there. No, but to answer your question, no, soccer has sealed their fate. Volleyball has a record of 1-9. The only hope is with the field hockey team. And they need a big win against UConn to even clinch a berth in the Big East tournament, or they need Georgetown to lose. But listen, we're asking for a big win from UConn from them. That's a lot. That's a lot to ask for.
Yeah.
That's the only way that they're going to see some postseason action. That's the only way anybody's going to see any postseason action in the fall semester here at Temple. That's just what I think.
Yeah.
I don't know. What about you? Maybe you have like a more positive spin on this, but it doesn't look too good. It doesn't look.
Brooklyn, I'm a realist,
Yeah.
So if you're asking me for a positive, re-encouragement, it's not gonna happen.
Okay.
You're right.
All right.
That field hockey game against UConn is gonna be huge. Always a great show out. I've been to those games before against UConn, and it's always up in the air. It could be a win for the Owls. That is something. If you want to be positive, if you want to look at it, if you want to look up something, there's that. It could happen. We could have a team in the postseason. It's not going to happen with football. It's not going to happen with any other team right now. And the way I'm looking at it, the fall season is coming to a close. I think it should stay there. The fall season needs to close. We need to put a bow on it. We need to put it up on the shelf and say, thank you. It was nice. It was great having you. I really think we vibed well, but it's not going to work out. And that's how we need it. We need to break up with the fall season. I'll be honest. We need to say, it's been great, but goodbye. And then we can.
The fall season's out the door, and so am I. So maybe that'll help. Maybe once I'm out of here, maybe something will click within the athletic department.
That's true.
But for now,
when you graduate, maybe we'll see some better records. I can only hope. I can only hope that you have been the reason that we're not doing this great over the past years. I don't want to blame you. But we'll see. Validation is not always.
Field hockey team. Good luck, Charlie. That's it. That's the last hope that the Owls have for the fall.
That is true. Good luck, Charlie. Now to the river, where Temple Rowing has gone through lots of adversity this year. If you remember, their boathouse was underwater just last month after that historic flooding of the Schuylkill River. Boats and equipment had to be sent in for repairs. Now take a look at last week. The rowing team, despite this setback, placed 4th out of 40 in the men's collegiate 8. This was during the head of the Charles Regatta, the largest 2-day rowing event in the world. This team really does show that perseverance conquers. All right. Thank you so much for watching. That is going to bring a close to this episode. I know we talked about a lot of things, a lot of the woes in the athletic program, got a little heated from time to time, but that's fine because it's Halloween. And Brooklyn, can you guess what I'm dressed as?
Nate, you are a superhero.
That is correct. I will be dressed as a healthcare worker, the closest thing to a superhero that we have right now. But I'm kind of curious, Brooklyn, what are you going to dress as?
Yeah, so we got this hat going on here. We're going to be a space cowgirl. There's a lot of glitter involved, which has not been applied yet. It'll probably take me 3 weeks to take off as well. But I'm excited. It's going to be fun. It's going to be awesome.
That's fine. If Brooklyn does have glitter on for the next episode, you will all know why. I don't know what a space cowgirl is. I never knew those existed, but that's fine because Halloween is a time to learn. But as I said, that is going to draw a close to this episode. Brooklyn, I heard you're going to a game tomorrow.
Yeah, myself and Alexis Beckett will be at the Temple game. Temple versus UCF, back at home, painted end zones. First time all season. But myself and Alexis will be there. We will have coverage all day long for the sports desk, pre-game, during game, and post-game reports, as always. So make sure to tune into that. But thank you for tuning in to this week's episode. Make sure to follow us on